Okay, so we are going to factor quadratic equations using the box method. So let's look at the steps. Factor out any common factors. So what do they share? We are going to rewrite using prime factorization. 12 is 2 times 2 times 3, x to the third is x times x times x. 10x, 2 times 5 times x because it's x to the second. 12 is 2 times 2 times 3 times x. So what do they share? They share 1, 2. Okay, let's change the color. So 1, 2. Then they share 1x. And what they share, I write it outside the parentheses as my GCF. So they share 2 times x. I open parentheses, and in the parentheses I write what they don't share. They don't share 2 times 3 times x times x. They don't share 5 times x. Then they don't share 2 times 3. So you see, I wrote what they don't share. What they don't share. They didn't share these factors. And that's what I wrote inside the parentheses. Now I am going to simplify because I have to give numbers, right? No factors. So 2 times x is 2x. Parentheses, 2 times 3 is 6. X times x, x to the second. 5 times x is 5x. 2 times 3 is 6. Perfect. So now what I'm going to factor is this quadratic. I am going to use the box method for my quadratic. So let's follow the steps. Remember, for a quadratic equation, I have ax to the second plus bx plus c. So in the steps it says multiply a times c. I am going to multiply 6 times negative 6. 6 times negative 6, negative 36. And I am going to write this number 5 is the sum. So what do I have? The product, and I have the sum. And I am going to find two numbers that multiply, give me negative 36. And when I add, give me positive 5. They don't come to my mind, okay? So I need to start making my list. I'm going to make a list because I cannot think about those two numbers. So let me start making my list. So if the product is negative, it means one number is positive, the other is negative. Why? Because positive times a negative is negative. So let's start looking for those two numbers. Let me get more space. So numbers that multiply give me negative 36. 36 times negative 1. 18 times negative 2. 9 times negative 4. Then I have 6 times negative 6. I think that's it, right? Now, if you notice, the greater numbers are positive. Why? Because my sum is positive. Okay, let's add. Let's add those two numbers. 36 plus negative 1, 35. 18 plus negative 2, 16. 9 plus negative 4, 5. 6 plus negative 6, 0. I found my numbers. So the numbers that I was looking for was 9 and negative 4. And step 4, put ax to the second. That was the leading coefficient in the top left box. So 6x to the second goes on the top left. C in the bottom right. C is a constant, negative 6. I did as corners. Now, 5. Put sides of your x in the leftover boxes. Okay, put x and x in each leftover box. Now we are going to write these numbers that I found here. So one is positive 9x, 9x, and the other is negative 4x. Okay, so now I am going to factor out what is common in each row and each column. So what is the common factor for the first row? 2x. For the second row, what do they share? Just 3. First column, what do they share? 3x. Second column, what do they share? Negative 2. So now I have my factorization. Let me move it up. So what are the factors? 3x minus 2 times 2x plus 3. Why did I write positive 3? Because this is plus 3 positive. I don't write. If some of you are having problems how I found the GCF, let me do it so you can visualize how I get those outside of the boxes. Let me erase this. 6x to the second, let me use a different color, is 2 times 3 times x times x. This is a 3. Negative 4, negative 1 times 2 times 2 times x. 9x is 3 times 3 times x. Negative 6 is negative 1 times 2 times 3. So what do they share by rows? By rows, the second row, they share 1, 3. That's why it goes outside. For the top row, what do they share? They share a 2. They share an x. That's why I wrote 2x. For the column, they share 3x. For that second column, they share a negative 1. And I share a 2, so it's just negative 2. That's how I get this parentheses.